Hi children, welcome back. In the previous session, we started about discussing about thermometers, types of thermometer as a part of the lesson heat. We know that heat is an energy form and it tells us whether cool or hot the object is. Whereas thermometers are the instruments which can able to measure the temperature. Temperature is a degree of hotness or coolness of the objects, right? So here we started discussing about thermometers. Thermometers are different types: laboratory thermometer, clinical thermometer, maximum and minimum thermometer, thermistor thermometer, and digital thermometers. Out of these, we started discussing about laboratory thermometer, and yesterday in previous class I explained you what is laboratory thermometer. The thermometer it is used in laboratories, right, to measure the temperature of the substances. Temperature of the substances, we use laboratory thermometer in the laboratory, right? How can we use it? Here, if you want to check the temperature of this water or any liquid, then take in a bowl and keep the laboratory thermometer inside the hot object, and take care, the bulb should not touch the floor of the vessel and as well as sides of the vessel. Now the mercury that is present inside, it expands and it stops somewhere, showing a particular temperature, right? By that you can able to conclude that the temperature of the liquid is 42 degree Celsius. And take care, you should not take out the thermometer out of this vessel while conducting experiment, right? So this is about laboratory thermometer. And next come to second one, that is clinical thermometer. The name itself indicating clinical, it is used in clinics or in hospitals, right? So all we have very familiar with this word clinical thermometer. Many of you seen, I think. It is also made up of a glass tube. It contains glass tube, and here in laboratory thermometer there is a presence of hook, whereas there is no hook for the clinical thermometer. And second one, very important one, is when you look at the graduates here, it is from -10 to 100 degrees Celsius. The range of the laboratory thermometer is -10 to 100 degrees Celsius, whereas the clinical thermometer, it has only 35 degree Celsius to 42 degree Celsius. Guess why? Why they given only a very short range from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius? Guess? Right. Because clinical thermometer is used to check the body temperature. To calculate or to measure body temperature, we use clinical thermometer. Here clinical thermometer, it contains 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Why only this range? Why this short range? Because normal human body temperature, it ranges. It do not go below 35 degrees Celsius and it do not shoot up above 42 degrees Celsius. So that's why clinical thermometer is designed as per the checking of body temperature. We should not use in laboratory, whereas laboratory thermometer do not give any accurate value for the body temperature. Why? Because here when you see the level between 35 to 36 degrees Celsius, means it is 35 degrees Celsius and it is 36 degrees Celsius. In between 35 and 36 there are 10 divisions. You could able to see separate 10 divisions. So here 1 degree Celsius is divided into 10, means 1 by 10. It gives us 0.1 degree Celsius. Means the accuracy of the clinical thermometer is very high. It can able to calculate even the rise in the 0.1 degree Celsius. Whereas here if you look at the laboratory thermometer, there is no 0.1 measurement. Only 10, -10, -9, -8, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 100 degrees Celsius you are going to see. But here the accuracy is more in case of clinical thermometer. So let us see how to calculate or how to measure the body temperature by using clinical thermometer. Right. So when the body temperature rises up, we are calling it as fever. When you get fever, ultimately we are going to visit a doctor. Then doctor will take out this thermometer and is going to measure. Let us see how he is going to measure. First of all, we have to clean the clinical thermometer by using a disinfectant or otherwise spirit or otherwise any solution, or else you could able to sterilize the glass by hot air oven by keeping in it, right? So now after sterilizing the thermometer in antiseptics or otherwise disinfectant solution, you are going to, for example, you cleaned it and now ask the patient to open the mouth and ask him to lift the tongue, then keep the thermometer below the tongue. It is called sublingual, right? So when you keep the thermometer under the tongue, wait for 1 minute. After 1 minute, take out the thermometer out of the patient's mouth and keep it vertically. For example, if it is a thermometer, take it out and keep it vertically and slowly rotate it. At a point you are going to see the mercury, raised mercury, silver shiny mercury in magnified manner. So whenever you find the magnified manner, you just count it up to what it raised. For example, it raised up to 37. It is at 35, now raised at 37. Yes, my doubt is that when I take out from the mouth of the patient, there is a chance to getting down of these mercury level, it drops definitely. But here, to prevent this droppage, there is a constriction called kink. Very important. Here it is the kink, K-I-N-K, kink, right? Kink is present in the in the clinical thermometer, whereas it is absent in laboratory thermometer. That's why we don't use laboratory thermometer to measure the body temperature, right? Kink is the small constriction which prevents the reverse flow of mercury in the capillary tube, so that you could take out and slowly you can able to measure the body temperature, right? So the normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. 37 degree Celsius. In other words, in thermometer, in the same thermometer, the scales are different. One side you could able to see degree Celsius, and another side when you see there they given Fahrenheit, Celsius and as well as Fahrenheit. Celsius and Fahrenheit. If it is Celsius, 37 degrees Celsius. If it is Fahrenheit, 98.6 Fahrenheit. There is a formula, I will explain you later how to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit into Celsius, right? So this is the normal body temperature, 98.6 Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. If there is raise in this range, then it is called as the patient is suffering from fever, right? So this is the structure and use of clinical thermometer, right? We discussed about laboratory thermometer and clinical thermometer. Let us see the difference. Here there is a hook in the structure of the laboratory thermometer and there is no hook. Here the graduates are from, our scales are from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, whereas here from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. And here we can able to measure very low temperature, very high temperature, whereas there is a normal range, a certain range, very short range is there from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Here we use to measure the substance temperature, whereas clinical thermometer is used to measure the body temperature. So these are the two varieties of thermometers that we are using, and both of them they contain mercury. Now come to maximum and minimum thermometer. Have you listened this? MMT. Actually, MMT, maximum minimum thermometer, was designed by a scientist named Six. Yes, Six. Six is the scientist name, right? Not that Six. Here, Six designed this MMT, so that's why it is called as 6 MMT, maximum minimum thermometer, which is used to measure the maximum temperature of the day and minimum temperature of the day that you seen in your news or in papers, right? They are going to read. Okay, today's news in West Bengal, the maximum temperature is 37 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature is the 28 degrees Celsius. How could they say? Because of maximum minimum thermometer. You are going to know more in further lessons, right? So thermistor thermometer. Thermistor thermometer, it is also used in medicals or in clinics to measure the temperature of babies, right? The baby body temperature is measured by thermistor thermometer. Now in your generation there is a digital thermometer. Nowadays we are going to see only digital thermometers. There are no glass tubes. So here digital thermometers, they are given with LED screen, right? So there is a button like this, right? So this is about thermometers, different types of thermometers. And next, in next session we are going to learn about transfer of heat. Before that I am going to ask you some questions and get ready with the answers. Number 1, when you go to a ice cream parlor, he offers either wooden spoon or plastic spoon. Why not steel or any iron spoon to you for eating? Question number 1. Question number 2. You know very well all ice creams, they contain wooden stick, not metal. Why? Number 3. Why the electric pole wires are hangs during the summer and they become tight during the winter? And number 4, why we are wearing cotton cloths in the summer, woolen cloths in the winter, right? And question number 5, why our utensils, dishes or something, cookers, they have metals at the bottom, or the body is made up of metal but the handle is made up of plastic? Why they designed all this like, right? So in the next session we are going to learn more about heat and its transfer, etc.